Welcome to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. If you're listening on Spotify, you can support the podcast through listener support. Plus, check out exclusive show-related content and join the community at patreon.com/Animal Stories for Kids. And now, it's time for our story. Once upon a time, there was an African wild dog named Natalia. Natalia, the African wild dog, was always hanging out with her classmates and learning from her teacher. All the African wild dogs would learn how to be an African wild dog from their teacher, who would show them how to follow the leader, how to stay hidden when lions were around, how to run fast for long distances, and most importantly, how to work together as a team. One of her favorite times during class was racing around in the savannah and trying to get faster and faster every time. She was always the fastest in her class, and her teacher knew she was getting faster every day. So the teacher stepped her off to the side while the other African dogs were taking a break and said to Natalia, the African wild dog, "I've noticed you have been getting faster and faster. Soon you'll be running faster than me." Natalia said to her teacher, "That would never happen. You're my teacher, and you're like much older than me and much more experienced than I am." Her teacher said, "Yes, that is true, but I know talent when I see it. I am so encouraged by you every time you run. It seems like you're listening to all my instructions and really working on your speed." Natalia, the African wild dog, said, "That's because you're such a great teacher, and I really enjoy your class." The teacher said to her, "Listen, Natalia, I'm actually going to be traveling to visit my family tomorrow. I was wondering if you could possibly teach class for me while I'm away. Could you do that? I think you know much about running. I would just have to teach you a little bit more about working as a team, and you'll be able to teach the others while I'm out with my family." Natalia, the African wild dog, was surprised that her teacher would ask her to substitute the class while visiting family. Although Natalia was really good at running fast, and she probably would be able to teach the other classmates about running, she was not as knowledgeable about working as a team. So Natalia, the African wild dog, said to her teacher, "That sounds like a big job to me. I wouldn't know where to start or what to do." The teacher told her, "Don't worry, Natalia. I'm going to teach you some extra things so that you can be a few steps ahead of the others and you'll be able to teach them the little extra you know. Plus, I won't be gone for too long. I just need you to teach the others in class about how to work as a team." So Natalia agreed and said she would do her best. As the class was dismissed and all the classmates went to their families, the teacher started to teach Natalia about teamwork and how to work together. The teacher said to Natalia, the African wild dog, "There is no letter I in the word team, and it's the same in real life. There is no I or me or myself in a team. We must cooperate and work together." Natalia was a bit confused. She had no idea what a letter was, nor how to spell, let alone how to spell the word team. But she understood what the teacher was saying. Then the teacher said to Natalia, "Natalia, no one is the most important person in a team. That means everyone is important. As African wild dogs, we survive by working together. If one is being selfish and only thinks about themselves, it can harm the whole group and they can get hurt or lost, or even worse, no one will be able to eat." Natalia asked, "Isn't the leader the most important in the group?" The teacher said, "No, because the leader depends on the others to work together. The leader only directs and protects. The leader can't catch an animal for food alone. The leader needs others to chase and to trap and to circle around to get the food that they need, and they work together to make it happen." Natalia said, "Right. Just like you can't teach the others when you're gone. You need a helper to step in your place and to help keep the class moving forward and learning." "That's right," the teacher said. "But when an animal is caught, the leader takes the first bite because of the role they play as protector and director. Without the leader, other animals can come and try to eat us, but if the leader is fed and has all the energy and is taken care of, The leader is able to protect the whole group, but the leader should also let the others have some too, so that the rest of the team is able to have energy and survive for another day and to hunt together. Natalia said, so everything is connected and works together like a well-oiled machine, whatever that is. After the teacher taught some extra things to Natalia so she could substitute, the teacher went off to go visit family. And now, Natalia was in charge of the class. The next day, when class was in session, all the African wild dogs gathered for class and was surprised when Natalia told them about how she would be substituting for the teacher. All the classmates were confused, but also very happy that the fastest student was able to teach them something new. Natalia, the African wild dog, said to them, "Hey everyone, today we're going to learn about teamwork. There is no letter I in the word team, and it's the same in real life. There is no I or me or myself in a team. We must cooperate and work together." The students were a bit confused. They also had no idea what a letter was, nor how to spell, let alone how to spell the word team. But they all understood what Natalia was saying. Natalia said what the teacher told her to. No one is the most important person in a team. That means everyone is important. As African wild dogs, we survive by working together. If one is being selfish and only thinks about themselves, it can harm the whole group, and they can get hurt or lost, or even worse, no one will be able to eat. As she was teaching the class, the sun was directly over them, and they were all getting hungry. So Natalia said, "Let's go hunt and see if we can run fast as our teacher taught us, and let's also see if we can work together as a team." As they all followed Natalia, looking for animals to hunt, Natalia started to think to herself, "Hey, I'm pretty important. Look at me. I'm leading the pack. I'm teaching. They're all listening to me and following me. I'm pretty big stuff up here. I think I should get rewarded for being so important." So as the pack of African wild dogs were running together, Natalia saw an impala behind a tree, and she felt so proud about being the leader, and she felt so important. She thought, "Hey, I think I'm going to treat myself and get this impala all for myself. And if I'm full, maybe I'll give some to the rest. They didn't stay after class yesterday. They didn't learn the extra things I did. I'm the leader, and I have to be fed." So Natalia, acting selfishly and without a word to the rest of the class, made a quick turn as she was running, and the rest of the pack got confused. They asked each other, "Where is she going? Is she leaving us? Did you hear her give any commands? Did she give us any directions?" No one knew what just happened, and since Natalia was the fastest, she was getting farther and farther from the rest of them. So even if they tried to run after her, she was already way ahead of them, and they were not going to catch up to her anytime soon. So they all ran after her, not knowing what was going on. Natalia chased the impala and ran so fast that she was getting closer and closer, but the impala looked back and noticed that the African wild dog chasing it was all alone. So the impala saw the edge of the forest up ahead and a bottom of a hill next to it. So the impala turned to go toward the forest, and Natalia chased after it toward the forest. Before the impala could run inside the thick trees, the impala made a quick turn and ran and jumped toward the hill. And Natalia couldn't turn fast enough to follow the impala that she tried to stop but started sliding toward a big tree. Then, bam! She ran right into a tree, and she lost the impala. As Natalia was laying on the ground, dust and leaves everywhere, she heard the rest of the African wild dogs running to her. They all came to her and asked if she was okay. One of them said, "Are you okay, Natalia? What happened? Why did you just leave us and run into this tree?" Natalia got up from the ground, still dazed and very embarrassed, and said to the rest of the class, "I'm sorry, everyone. I don't know why, but for some reason, I thought I was the most important one in our class. I thought because I was the most important, that I should have a whole animal for myself." The rest of the class realized what she was saying, and they said, "Oh, that's what happened. We were wondering why you just bolted off. I mean, you are a very fast runner, so we're actually surprised that we caught up to you." Natalia said, "Yeah, I'm so sorry. I just messed up our meal for today. If I was able to chase the impala with some of you closing in on the left and some of you closing in on the right, we could have trapped the impala and we would have a nice lunch right now. But I messed up pretty bad today. I just feel so embarrassed. I shouldn't even be a teacher. I was so selfish and was only thinking about myself. And now look what happened. Then another classmate said to her, "Hey, Natalia, don't feel so bad. Like all animals, African wild dogs make mistakes. We all do. We're just happy you're okay. You're still the fastest of all of us, and you're still our teacher for today. That means you still have to lead us and teach us for today." Natalia, the African wild dog, said, "You're all the best. Really, I was so selfish and I was even about to eat without you all, and I failed. But you're all so nice for not being mad at me." Then one of them said, "If we got mad at you for making a mistake, that would make us not like you very much. And that would mean that you wouldn't be as important to us. But we learned something from a great teacher once. There is no letter I in the word team. And it's the same in real life. There is no I or me or myself in a team. We must cooperate and work together." Natalia, the African wild dog, was still confused. She still had no idea what a letter was, and she still didn't know how to spell, let alone how to spell the word team. But after what happened today, Natalia really understood what they were saying. She felt more important than the rest, and that made her think she didn't need any of their help. But if she did get some help, they would all be eating now. So as the pack of African wild dogs started walking back to their home, Natalia was in the front, leading them, when she spotted a greater kudu off in a distance. She stopped and the rest of the pack stopped with her. This time, Natalia was going to be part of the team. Natalia whispered to the pack, "Okay, there's a greater kudu grazing in the grass over there. Now I want all of you on this side of me to go to the left quietly, and I want all of you to the right of me to go to the right. Once you get closer to the greater kudu, wait for my call, and we'll surround the greater kudu, and hopefully we can get a late lunch today, okay?" So the African wild dogs listened and went according to plan. Some of them went left, and some of them went right. And when they got to their places close enough to the greater kudu, Natalia began sneaking up closer and closer to the greater kudu. And as she got closer and closer, she was in range. And so she started to run as fast as she could. And she shouted, "Teamwork!" And as the greater kudu started to run away from Natalia, the African wild dog, the others from the pack came from the left and the right and surrounded the greater kudu, and Natalia was able to finally lead the class on a successful hunt. The next day, the teacher came back home and asked Natalia how her class was. Natalia said, "I think I learned much more about teamwork than any of the others. I learned the importance of teamwork by making a mistake." Then the teacher said, "You know what, Natalia? Sometimes we can learn a great deal from our mistakes, but it's as important to get over your mistake and move on. And it really helps if you have others who can look past your mistakes and move on with you." Natalia, the African wild dog, said, "Yeah, I have some really great classmates. They knew I made a mistake, and they still wanted to be my friend and listen to me as their teacher." And the teacher said to Natalia, "Well, that's just wonderful. Hey, Natalia, would you like to teach our class again?" And Natalia said, Maybe not for a while. I still have a lot of learning and a lot of growing to do. But when I'm ready, I'll make sure to tell you." And Natalia, the African wild dog, walked away with a big smile on her face because the teacher was finally back. And that meant she was able to learn with her classmates, not as one that was more important than them, but as one that was part of the team. And the African wild dog lived happily ever after. The end. The African wild dog is also known as the painted dog or Cape hunting dog and is a wild canine native to sub-Saharan Africa. It's the largest wild canine in Africa. They are diurnal hunters that use stamina and cooperative hunting to exhaust their prey and capture them. Their natural competitors for their prey are lions and hyenas. They can stand from 24 to 30 inches high, and they can be from 28 to 44 inches long. And when you add the tail, it adds on 11 to 16 inches on top of that. They can weigh from 40 to about 80 pounds. The African wild dog is lean and tall, with outsized ears and a shorter and broader skull compared to other canines. The fur has bristle hairs and are stiff, and adults can lose their fur as they age, with some older individuals being almost naked. The African wild dog mostly live in savannas and generally avoid forest areas, most likely because they prefer open areas to hunt their prey. They live in permanent packs. African wild dogs have been observed to communicating to each other with sneezes, which are characterized by a short, sharp exhale through the nostrils. And African wild dogs can actually be seen in ancient Egyptian archaeological artifacts. Have you ever seen a real-life African wild dog? If you have, where did you see it? If you want to write to us, ask your parent to email us at animalstoriesforkids@gmail.com and tell us what you think of our stories. We would love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. If you're listening on Spotify, you can support the podcast through listener support. Plus, check out exclusive show-related content and join the community at patreon.com/animalstoriesforkids. Until next time, bye!